Hey everybody, welcome back to another draw along. We're gonna get fancy today and give this drawing a try. I opened up Pinterest and saw the Joker here, and the shapes seem like I can recreate the drawing, and then the splashes of color I thought might be kind of fun. So I pulled out markers for the colors of this drawing, and we'll give some markers a try. Let's hop right into it. Obviously, the largest shape here is this squarish shape of his head. So we're gonna start there. He's wider at the jaw than he is at the brow of his hair, or the brow of his forehead, or hairline, what have you. So, and then some rounded corners at the bottom here of his jaw. Yeah, those are pretty simple shape to recreate here. Let's get his ears in here, which are kind of circle-ish. I'm not gonna try to get a perfect match there, but I just know that they're low on his head. All right, and then got a little line coming out of each ear there. Okay, and then let's get his outfit below his jaw here. What do I want to draw first? Okay, I think I'm going to do the inside lapel of his jacket. Let's get that. And then within that we have, I don't know if that's a shirt or a scarf or something he's wearing, but there's a couple lines for that. And then this inner part here will be blue. Okay, and then on the outside we'll get the rest of his lapel. All right, perfect. And that kind of goes down into nothing there, so I'm not worried about that. All right, let's get his hair. I think the hair is going to be the most challenging bit, especially with the coloring maybe. Not just because it's green, but there's those black marks in there too. So let's see, come around here and then it turns. And then from his ear, it pops out and swoops up, swoop down, pop out. Okay, that's good. Now let's do the other side. This line kind of ends a little past center and then picks up again a little down here as it rounds the corner. Oh, and this comes up from the ear a little straighter and then swoops up. Okay, I like that. And I'm not gonna draw these lines in here, the black lines in his hair. I'm gonna do that with the black marker a little bit later, and we'll see how that comes out. All right, got this side of his hair. It's kind of coming out from his lapel, then rounding, and then coming out over here and going behind his ear. And then this side, let's see it come out from his ear, rounding that way, curling up a little bit, and then a little bit going behind his lapel. Okay, and we have the whole shape of his head, his hair, his ears, his clothing. Let's get his features in here. Just interesting, his eyes, nose, and mouth are all very close to the center of his face, so I think that's kind of fun. I think I want to get his smile in there first, which is this side is a little bit higher than his ear. So I'm going to put a little mark right there. That's going to be where one side of his smile is, and his other smile is just below the ear on this side. So I'm going to put a little mark there. So I have these two marks, and I'm going to draw his smile in between those two marks. The top of his mouth kind of looks like a straight line. So let's do that. It's kind of straight. And then it's a very narrow smile. Yeah, there we go. And then when we come in here, actually, I'm gonna erase the top bit there. I want that to be a solid line, just because with his teeth, the inside of his mouth is colored black, as you can see, and then his teeth are left white. And I don't have a way to color white, so what I need to make sure I do is just not color his teeth when I bring the black in to color his mouth. All right, so there's his mouth, and his nose is just right above that. And it's a little funny shape because it's painted. I'm not getting that super accurate there, but I am indicating, they're not wings, maybe they're supposed to be his nostrils or something, but you know, it's a little weird shape in there. And then real close to his nose are his eyes. And he's got this eyebrow or eyelid, whatever, coming up there. And then this eye, I feel like it's even closer than that, but this eye is right down here. And then the top of the eye is curved like that. Okay. Yeah, you can see that smug little smile. And then there's a line in the middle, probably like as he's furrowing his brow. And then we have this eyebrow coming up here really sharply. And I don't see an eyebrow on the left side, but I do, the paint on his head is shaped sort of like the eyebrow. So I'm gonna block in kind of where the red, maybe where the paint is on his face, so I have an idea of the bounds I'm working within when I go to color. I think it's neat how sloppily the paint is put on his face, and I hope I can make that come across when I color it in. It's gonna be weird. Okay, there's some blue above his eye there. This eye has some blue around it. And then there's some blue on this eyebrow. I don't want to color that in too much there, but, and then for the paint around his mouth, I'm going to try to block in these shapes a little bit. It comes up way high. Spikes there. And then comes back down to the top of his mouth, and then there's just the top of his mouth through here just has just a light line of makeup of paint. So I'll just draw a line there, and then it comes up on this side way out here, and then swoops down past his mouth there. A couple sharp bits coming out. Circle kind of thing. All right. And then there's a couple little splotches over here. And then there's a couple lines. They're black lines over here on the side of his mouth. Oh, there's a couple over there, but I don't think I have enough room to work on that side of the head. I think I brought the mouth a little too far that direction. We're just gonna leave it like that. And then there's a couple little lines down here in his cheek or his jaw. All right, I think I like where that is. We're gonna leave that as it is, and we're gonna start coloring in. Oof! All right, let's do it. Now, I think I want to take the black first and start outlining and drawing the black in his hair. So I have a dual brush marker here. That was a brush tip there, a dual tip marker, brush tip, and then a fine tip. I think I'm gonna do the outline of the character with the fine tip, and then we'll go from there. here. And then this bit comes out, swoops down and out, and back down to his ear. Let's get his clothing here. Nice. All right, get the bottom of his hair. And then maybe I can shorten up his mouth a little bit. Yeah. All right, I'm not gonna color in his mouth just yet. Let's get his eyes. And then okay, then we have this eyebrow. And then we have these little lines down here. And then these lines on the side of his mouth. And then these lines on the side of his mouth. All right, now I'm gonna try to get his hair. What I think I'm gonna do, you can see the black lines that they're making, especially up here, there's lines, all right? And then as you get down towards the side here, it looks like there's a lot more solid black. There's a lot more solid black down here, but then there's also some lines shooting off of that solid black. So I'm gonna start on this side and try to find all of the solid black and create that shape. And I'm gonna do that not with the brush tip just yet, but I'm gonna do it with the fine tip. All right, so kind of looks like it's coming down this way and then up here. Okay, you know what, I'll do that I'll just sort of block in the shape of the darker areas. Hold on, I'm gonna blow this up on my computer here so I can see a little bit more clearly. Okay, so here, there's kind of this little bit, and then out here, there's this. Okay, and then up here, there's sort of this rectangle shape. And then over here, it comes up from his ear, up this way. Okay. And then down here, there's a big blob down here. All right, let's color all that in black. All right. Oh, you know what? I'm going to color that in with the brush bit. Might be a little bit easier. He's got a little bit of hair shooting out there, and a couple little hairs coming out there. Okay. And then this will all be black. And these shapes aren't perfect, But I like that I noticed, or at least considered, hey, there are these shapes that are all black, and then there are lines shooting off from there. So let me try to create some shapes and then color them in, and then draw the lines off of these colored in shapes. It's learning how this artist, their methods for creating these shapes within the hair. All right, so here there's lots of lines coming out. I'm gonna draw real light with the brush tip there so I don't color in too much. All right, and then there's a few lines coming over here. All right, then they're shooting off here a little bit, sort of randomly. All right, and then there's one there. There's a bunch over here. Comes all the way up to about there. Okay, I wonder if I should have drawn the green first. I don't know. We'll go back over it. I'm sure it'll look fine. And then there's a lot of hairs over here. Big lines. They kind of get a little smaller. All right, I like that. And then we have some lines on his jacket too. This is all pretty dark in here. And then maybe I should have. I'm drawing with the brush tip lays down a pretty thick line if you're not careful. All right, I think we're good there with the black. Let's go with the green. I want to get this hair in. I think it'll look pretty cool. And his hair, you can see there's some shadow in his hair. I do have the lightest of gray markers from the pack that I bought, and I think that'll work. I got the lightest because I didn't want to, you can always go darker, but you can't go lighter, so I figured I'll just go with the lightest first and then see how that looks and adjust if we need. Okay, it looks like the black isn't bleeding in with the green, so that's good. I was a little worried that might happen, but it's not. Nice. All right, I like that green. Let me get his clothes in here. I got this purple, and this purple is a lot darker than the purple that is in his jacket, but we're just gonna go with it. right, got that. And then we'll get the yellow. Okay, got the blue. And then when we're done here, we'll take the blue up to his face and try to get some of that blue. All right. All right, I don't know how this is gonna look. Let's see. Some little around his eye there. Okay. I did have this is sort of a turquoise, as you can see. I did have a blue in my pack here, but that blue seemed too dark for what was going on here. So I'm using this instead. Right. And then come up here. All right, that's blue. We've got our red. There's a lot of red here. Let's see what we can do. Just trying to be a little sloppy with it. This art, I believe, was likely done digitally, so maybe, I don't know, I shouldn't use that as an excuse, because I'm sure somebody with markers can create splattery looking, sloppily applied makeup. I'm just not capable of that just yet. I can kind of see my lines here. Okay. I still gotta go back in and color his mouth too. Let's get this line across the top. Okay. Nice. And this comes down. He missed a little spot there just below his lip. So I'll try to get that. Yeah. Looks like a mad person applied that color. I think that's what they were going for. All right, so we got the blue, we got the yellow, we got the purple, we got the hair. We have the blue around the eyes. Oh, his nose, duh. Okay, so this is just a circle with a couple little nostrils sort of flaring out the side there. Heck yeah. I love it. I love it. It looks great. And then we'll see if we can't add some shadow in here. So this is kind of how dark it'll apply. Maybe it'll be obvious, or maybe it won't do anything. I know definitely I wanted this for his face here. So this is gonna come all the way down here and then around his face and end over here. All right, so taking a risk here. We're gonna go in for it. Nice. Okay, we're gonna color all this in. So let's see if we can get his hair. So it's really everything between the black, where the, you know, the inside of his hair here, where it touches his head, where it comes out of his head, and then a line near the edge of his hair. Okay. I feel like I can probably go a little darker in the green. Maybe I'll let it dry and then go over it again. Okay, most of this is colored in. Now I can see a little bit of green, I think, on the marker there. Maybe I'm just seeing things. Okay, then it's across his jacket here too. See if this shows up as anything. Yeah, a little bit. Goes over into the blue. And then down here. And then we have a little bit his ears here. Oh, forgot his mouth. I think we're good with the shadowy bits for now. Maybe forever done with the shadowy bits. All right, I want to draw the outline of these teeth real quick and then just make sure I don't color that. Yeah, oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. Just stay away from that. Yeah, wow. I'm glad I went with the color today. That's cool. I'm happy how it turned out. If you drew along, I hope your Joker turned out great, whether it's colored or not. You know, if anyone's curious about the markers that I got, I got them from a friend. They're Bic Intensity. I was even considering picking up a box of Crayola crayons recently. Like, why not just get some crayons and color? And I'm sure these markers are relatively inexpensive, but you don't need markers. So crayons will work just fine. Maybe I'll pick some up and we'll color something else in with crayons another time. But it's the freaking Joker. I love it. It turned out great. Thanks for joining me in this another draw along here. It's been fun. Have a great day.